Hello, my fellow Americans. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. It's Saturday, June the 10th. I know I haven't done a video like this in, what, 3, 4 months maybe? Well, the reason is simple. I didn't really want to bore you guys by repeating myself over and over again. I mean, when it comes to what's going on in this country, it's just the same stuff. This whole Russia thing, as I mentioned a long time ago, it's just a distraction. And this thing with Comey is just more of the same. Those in power, those in real power, they don't want you to focus on what's really going on. The things that really matter. This whole Russian thing, it's just a distraction. While once again here, Russian thing, over here is all the real stuff. And all this Comey, you know what's going to happen? Nothing. Do you really expect anything to happen? See, Hillary and the rest of them, Obama, they don't want us to focus on the things that they've been doing. And you see this thing with Comey, I mean, he's done things, it sounds like he's committed felonies. Hillary's committed felonies. Obama's probably committed felonies. But I think they have an agreement. I'm going to do bad stuff. And I know you're going to do bad stuff. So I'm not going to do anything. If I'm in power, I'm not going to do anything about your bad stuff. And if you get in power, you don't do anything about my bad stuff. They shake on it or they wink. And that's the way it is. Meanwhile, you know, the regular folks, we look at this stuff, we see what happens to other people, and then we just kind of go about our merry way and not really get anything done. That's just the way it is. So that's that's just the reason why I haven't been doing these videos, because I'm just repeating myself. Because the stuff just keeps repeating. Just so it's nothing new, nothing earth-shattering. But I did do something kind of interesting. I went to a rally up in Salem this week. You know, it's a really sad state of affairs when you have Americans wanting to tax other Americans more. Now, just focus on what I said. Americans wanting to tax other Americans more. I mean, do these people forget what happened back in the 1770s? Or maybe they don't recall what happened in the 1770s. Maybe they never knew. Maybe that's part of the problem. I mean, there's these people wearing these, what was it, socialist democratic t-shirts. I should have gotten one. I could have held it up. I mean, do you see what's going on in Venezuela, you socialists? Is that what you want to happen here? I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just so totally ridiculous. But these people will say with a straight face, you know, more taxes, tax the corporations more. Well, what's a corporation? People own corporations, so you're not really taxing, you're taxing people. You know, they're making all these profits. So by that logic, I should be able to go up to any car dealer. You're making all this money. You got all these new cars. I should have one. Right? Or, I'm hungry, Mr. Grocery Store. You got all this food. You should give me some food. Or, I'm sick. Hey, I'm sick, doctor. You're a rich doctor. You should, operate on me for free. I mean, isn't that... I mean, when you take that logic, hey, Mr. Millionaire in the mansion, you got all that big mansion, and I'm homeless, so I should be able to sleep in one of your bedrooms. I mean, doesn't that just sound really ludicrous? Because I ask these people, I say, are you really willing to put a gun to my head to make me pay for somebody else's the consequences of their poor life choices? And they look at it and they go, what are you talking about? I go, well, if they eat themselves so they're so fat and they have diabetes, or they've been smoking and they've got cancer, or they've been drinking and they got liver or kidney problems, is it my responsibility to pay for their poor choices and the consequences? Then they look at me and they go, well, doesn't everybody deserve health care? I go, no. What in nature suggests that anybody deserves anything? I mean, the deer come to the front yard, I throw them apples, and the big deer chases off the little deer. Is that fair? No, that's nature. If I scatter them, then the little deer can get some, and then the big deer will run over there, then I throw wherever the little deer go. But I mean, that's the way it works in nature. This whole idea of fair. It's not fair. Well, what is fair? What about nature suggests that anything is fair? It just doesn't make any sense. These people, they're caught in the matrix. I say these are all constructs. They're concepts. You get sucked into that. The same idea that some piece of paper where a bunch of, white guys sat around in the 1700s and said, these are your rights. You think that piece of paper means anything when you're out in the country? It doesn't mean a dang thing. It's all a construct. If you believe that piece of paper gives you rights, then you're lost in the matrix. It's real simple. You're born. You're here. And from that point forward, you will have to deal with force. Natural forces like gravity, the wind, or man-made forces, or such as guns. If the sheriff were to roll up here right now, if it was just one, and I had Mr. Remington here, it'd be pretty much a standoff. Now, if he rolled up here with, 17 deputies, well, then it would be a slaughter. I mean, I just have to because, maybe I get 2 before they get me. On the other hand, if I had my posse up here, and then one sheriff rolled up here, chances are he might just turn around and leave and maybe call in some reinforcements. But he would realize that he was outnumbered, outgunned. And that's what nature suggests. It's force. And I've drawn the equation. If my force is greater than your force, then I'm going to do what I want to do and you can't stop me. And I might even tell you what to do. If your force is greater than my force, then you'll do whatever you want to do, and then you might tell me what I can and can't do. If our forces are equal, we might just, let bygones be bygones. You do what you think, I'll do my thing. And you see, that's why, if you look at it, that's why we don't want Iran or Iraq or Afghanistan or anybody else to get North Korea to have these nuclear weapons. Why? Because all of a sudden now we're on equal footing. We don't want that. No, we want to have more force. And that's just the way it is, you know? I mean, really, what right does one country have to tell another country that they can't develop nuclear weapons? I mean, when you really think about it, the only thing that makes one country be able to do that is they've got more force. If you don't stop, we're going to come over and blow you up. Well, you see, if they could blow us up, then you see how that would equal out? We couldn't say that. You couldn't tell somebody else what to do unless you got more force. And that's just the way it is. No, so that's why I said, you know, as far as these videos go, I mean, maybe I'll do some more, you know, ranch updates or stuff in the shop. I've been building a few things lately. But, you know, it's just, this politics is just, it's just going to the bizarro world. I mean, the media, I mean, I only get one channel up here out of the airways because I don't have satellite, and it's just not worth it to me. But the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley, it's just, I mean, I hardly ever watch it anymore. It's not even news. I think that the news, there's been more negative news against Trump in like the first 8 weeks than there was against Obama in his entire 8 years. I mean, almost the headlines or the stories, they just can't say the story straight. They always have to say, well, but Trump, this is a lie or something. They just got to throw something in. Well, Trump said this, but that's not true. You know, they never did that once with Obama. Not once. I mean, I don't know who they think they're fooling. Maybe they're fooling a lot of people, obviously. They're not fooling the rumpled one, that's for dang sure. I had a good talk on the phone with JNL. Hey, shout out to you, JNL Zero, the other day, and we were talking about some of this stuff. And that's kind of like, we kind of decided that's why we just stay out here in the country. I guess it's kind of where we belong that way, you know. If somebody wants to mess with me, they got to make effort to get here. So I'll leave them alone, they leave me alone, everything's good. But my fellow Americans, as always, you need to wake up and smell the tyranny.